Like whatever you thought it was at first, that's exactly what it is. Like Kung Fu Panda, it was in that movie. Maybe it was number 2. I'm not sure. I don't know. Google it, nerd. Like when his head got pulled out of his torso, it like released the wires of his phalanges. Because this would have never happened if I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And then this turned into a beautiful, like, horn maze. These mystical hands have a lot of power, it seems like. This is cool. I like what's going on here. But it kind of reminds me of a Titan from Attack on Titan. And then this is also feels important. I'm not sure if it is, but it feels important. Ow. Okay. Week 2. Oof. Yeah, if you don't know what I'm doing, I'm drawing a lot. This is my second week of drawing a lot, trying to make a habit out of it. Going for an hour a day, and just a heads up, this video is going to be like pretty therapeutic and calm, maybe even meditative. And if you're not into drawing, or if you need constant stimulation, maybe this video isn't for you, but I hope you stick around because that'd be cool. I am a little sick, but we're going to push through and go over the week's drawings. I did, I think, 5, maybe 6. If my explanations and thoughts aren't very profound today, I can blame it on the sickness. But I didn't want the sickness to be an excuse for me not sticking to my word. So yeah, let's get into it. I have the camera rolling. I have some tea. Pretty cool. Cup. It's like vanilla and cinnamon tea. Herbal. It's pretty good. Starting on Sunday with this drawing that I titled Overindulgence. Boom. Just trying to let you soak it all in. Just take it in. I started with some shapes. When you don't know what to do, just start drawing shapes and lines. And stuff will come to you. Shapes, and it turned into a box, and it kind of looked like a mouth with teeth, like he was inhaling all of these particles. So I drew out from it, kind of made some makeshift lips and some cheeks and a chin here. So it was just this for a while. And then I wanted a geometrical nose, so I did that. And I've really worked on depth this week, like adding depth to my drawing, making it 3-dimensional. Trying to do, like you can see maybe here, this goes back into the field of view. Like this is 3-dimensional. And then this was a late addition, but you can tell it's 3-dimensional. It doesn't quite look right, but I tried, and that's what's important. The eyes are pretty cool. This was hard. This like crossing of the hands thing, the arms. I like the idea. It was just hard to pull off. A lot of like editing, a lot of the wrong lines in the shading. I didn't want to have to shade it like that, but it was more of like a cover up for some mistakes, but it's okay. I think it's pretty cool. Like all these particles are like going through like this vent thing and they're getting pushed out over here. It would have been a little bit more convincing if these were all 3-dimensional as well. Yeah. But it's pretty good progress from, like you can already kind of see progress. Like it's a more complete drawing than last week's drawing. I like finished it intentionally, you know. I probably could have added more, but it looks pretty good. Trying not to be so down on myself. Like last week I kind of rewatched the video a little bit, and I was doing a lot of critiquing of myself, and it's not necessarily fair. Like, none of these drawings are going to be perfect. The only thing you can do is keep grinding with it, keep trying, and keep drawing over the long term. So try not to be too hard on myself, but I do hold myself to high standards because I know what I'm capable of. So some things that I picked up on this week while I was drawing in my sessions. But yeah, overindulgence, pretty good theme for society today, I suppose. Yeah, who knows? Maybe these aren't very good for you. Chances are they're not, you know? All right, number 2. Bang. This one's cool. There's a lot of depth and like shading. The shading and the detail make this one look solid. These were done on the same day also. I did both of these on Sunday. It was a big drawing day for me. Yeah, started with some spikes down here, like these 2 big ones, and then this one, these in between, and it kind of looked like a beard. This is a light source, so I've been doing this. This is the first one I started doing this. I'll just put a dot or like a asterisk in a corner or like in a spot to remind me of the light source of the page, and that really helps when going back and putting in detail and doing the shading. And then just to give it some extra depth, I put these rocks in, and I said, I think it's just allergies, which is how I feel now when I'm just like genuinely sick. Oh, I think it's just allergies. Looks pretty cool. Took a lot of time. It's pretty simple, but it looks solid. I like it. I feel like it's already like starting to make progress, and it's pretty quick. Like, you can see a difference between last week's drawings and these, for even just these first 2. Hopefully it keeps going. I don't really exactly remember what I drew, which is a good thing, I think. But I didn't spend a lot of time talking about this one because there's not a whole lot to talk about. You could just make stuff up and probably talk forever if you wanted to. These like points, okay, I'll talk about something. These points of views with like the points were so difficult because like it's easy to do these ones on the outside because all it is just like, but when you want something to point out at you like 3D, you want to feel like it's coming out toward you, maybe like the nose right here or like one of these, something in the middle that's like you want to feel the depth. It's really hard, and it's like harder than you think it is. And I tried to play around with it, and it just wasn't like, I didn't even get one that really stuck out in a good way. Yeah, that was tough. Maybe this one's pretty close, but still tough. Something to work on in the future. Room for improvement. Hashtag yeah. All right, number 3. Bang. Soak it in. Soak it in. This was a hard-fought drawing. I remember I was very brain tired and brain dead. I literally was just drawing shapes and squiggles and vines and stuff like that, and then I went back and added some sloppy detail and gave it some depth. It's almost like a school of fish, but then it gets closer and it's like almost like an entity, like it's its own entity made up of smaller entities. And the front of the entity has like some sort of objective is happening here. Like these vines with almost dead flowers on them. It's like there's a goal. They're trying to grow and do something. Maybe it's like a brain producing life or something. But something's definitely happening here. The shading doesn't really make all that much sense. This is kind of just like, yeah, slop. Like from like here to here is pretty sloppy in my opinion. The light source was supposed to be down here. I said, just go with the flow, man, because chill vibes never fail. But yeah, not my favorite, but it happened, and that's the goal, is that it happens, because this would have never happened if I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Deep thoughts. Number 4. I don't know. Should I say anything else about this? Never know when to like move on to the next one, because I could easily just like go on rants about anything. There's these dashes right here that are going like this. That was the original plan. I wanted it to curve. So this was like a guide. So I wanted it to curve and follow here and then spiral around and go to the corner of the page. But as you can see, plans change. Obviously. Got all caps going here. That's new. Cool. I think this is enough said. Drawing number 4. Nice. Just a good nice. I worked hard on this one, and I was happy with the result. It gives me like Chinese dragon vibes. I started with these poles or like straight lines over here and moved on into here, and then started drawing these straight lines, and then this turned into a beautiful like horn maze. They were like antlers that turned into a maze, or like a pipe system or something. I don't know why the imitation game, or like the Illuminati. Is it Illuminati? What's the code? The Da Vinci Code? I don't even know what that means. But like those words fit pretty well with what's going on here. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then I started going with this cloud texture, which became an ongoing theme. I think I became obsessed with the texture. I did it so much throughout the week. Just gotta take a breath. Maybe some tea. Oh. And then it looked like a dragon to me, so I drew like a beard on the dragon, and drew some beautiful proportional arms with real fingers. Just enough fingers. Not too many. Not too little. And whatever, these are like extended whiskers, like large whiskers. Dragons have whiskers, right? I think they do. It'd be a shame if they don't. I feel like they do. What are those strings on like Chinese dragon, like blow up, like the ones that like parades and stuff, and like at Kung Fu Panda? It was in that movie. Maybe it was number 2. I'm not sure. I don't know. Google it, nerd. And then I drew this face, and it looked like it was in a trance with spaghetti hair, maybe even French fry hair. He's got like layers of face. He's got like 3 layers. 1, 2, 3. And then the cloud texture took so much. And then like 3 layers of cloud. 1, 2, 3. And he's sitting on some sort of chair, bowl, toilet thing. I want to go with a chair, like a drum chair. It's got like a robot body, cubed arms and legs, and he's made of wires, and they seem to be disattached. Like when his head got pulled out of his torso, it like released the wires of his phalanges, meaning his hands and feet. Or maybe phalanges is fingers and toes, which would be a cool idea as well. That means there would be 20 wires instead of 4. Food for thought. But when his head got detached from his torso, it released these wires, and it's like all the tension was released and he can relax. Or maybe his body doesn't work anymore because he's some sort of cyborg robot. And who's the one doing this? Of course, it's the dragon. These mystical hands have a lot of power, it seems like. Yeah, there's a lot to think about here. A lot to think about. This would be another cool one to see an all black background, because it's hard to tell where some of the clouds end, you know? Like this gap right here would be all black because, in my mind, that's a hole in the clouds. And it's hard to tell because it's white on white. But man, that's a lot of ink. And if I learned something this week, it's that I go through a lot of ink, and this drawing thing requires a lot of ink. Like, these are all the pens that I found this week. And, like, probably half of these are dead. These are my favorite pens. I'm not sponsored, but I could be. Same pens that Andrew Huberman uses. Precise V7 rolling ball. Yeah. A lot of ink for this whole hobby thing. Kind of crazy. You don't really think about it until it comes up. And then I said, indulge in disassociation. There's a lot of merit to that, I feel like. I don't know if he's disassociating on purpose or if he's being forced to dissociate. It kind of feels forced to me. It feels balanced. Even though it's like unsymmetrical, there's this corner cut off and it's all black. It feels like a balanced drawing. And you might feel completely otherwise. But to me, this feels like a completed drawing. Like I could frame it. Like it's that completed. I don't want to add another dot. Other than perhaps changing the background. But it's too many dots. Too big of a cost benefit analysis. Beautiful. I'm going to wipe my nose. Nothing to see here. Pretty sure I wore this hoodie in the last video too. All right, what are we on? 5? Drawing number 5. Crazy. Bang. Lot going on here. Maybe just take a minute and absorb it. I would say that this drawing is not finished. It is not finished. I don't even know how close it is to being finished. I put in a lot of effort to try and finish it. But once you get into a flow and take a break from that flow, it is absurdly hard to get back into the same headspace and try to just pick up where you left off. Man, it's hard. Started with this guy. I think I started with his eyes. I kind of like round 2 fight on this like whole spiky thing, and then like a more theme with the clouds, bringing that back. A lot of clouds. This is like a cloud ball with spikes in it, which is cool in my opinion. It's like I would imagine this to be in like an anime fight or like Greek mythology. Like it'd be a weapon of some sort. Like you summon a cloud ball with spikes and you throw it at someone. Food for thought. Cool thing going on there. And you got this guy who's clearly frightened by the cloud of spikes, and his tongue seems to be attracted to it. And he's looking over yonder, and he seems to be like warning someone. This is cool. I like what's going on here. It feels like a good texture. This feels like a good texture. Like wrinkly, but appropriate. And it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen Attack on Titan. I know some of you who are watching this will have seen it. But it kind of reminds me of a Titan from Attack on Titan. Maybe just the mouth area. And the eyes are cool. These I think I don't really do irises that much. And I did irises this time with no pupil, and I think it turned out good. Just cool to reflect on. Whole lot of mumbo jumbo up here. This is feels like a tree stump. Cool eyes, like a bloomin' onion type hair. Pretty cool. And then this is also feels important. Not sure if it is, but it feels important. It's like this feels like the source of the energy, and it's like providing sustenance through all these vines to these heads and faces, which is what's the word? Encapsulated, placed. It exists in this environment, this matrix of squares and geometrical three-dimensional space. There are so many better words to describe what's going on in this corner, but I haven't written or read enough for my vocabulary to reach those words, which is something I'm working on, by the way. This was a struggle down here. There's not a ton to say. I tried to like pick back up where I left off. I started with a face frog, this like black void thing, trying to get the juices flowing again. And I feel like it didn't live up to the rest of the drawing. But like half the battle is just sticking with it. Like this drawing and this drawing, I just stuck with it. And like there were times where I just stopped drawing, took a break. I was like, man, what do I add next? And you just sit back for like a minute or two, maybe longer, and then go back in it. Like stick with it, because something good will come out. Yeah. And then I have one more. That was the last one in this. I went to Maryland, so I couldn't bring this hoss of a sketchbook. So I ended up drawing in this little guy, which is my notebook, the thing that I write in every day, the thing that I'm trying to fill up, the thing that I document my life in. This is my first drawing, I think, in this notebook. I did it on the plane, or I did it like waiting for the plane at the gate, and on the plane as well. It's literally just it's a blob of exactly like whatever you thought it was at first. That's exactly what it is. It's pretty obvious, in my opinion, what it is. And whatever you just thought is exactly right. Like, in my opinion, turned out good. This is called automatic drawing. That's kind of what I do. Some like I just learned that my style has a name, and it's automatic drawing, which is where you draw with no goal, and you just make lines, and then you try to do it all unconsciously, but I think that's a little bit of bogus. You pick up on patterns that are appealing to your eye, and you try to compare them to things in real life. And I feel like you're naturally more attracted to things that look like things in real life when you're drawing. So, like, you can draw a bunch of lines with, like, no substance or no variety in them and be discouraged because it looks like nothing. But if you keep going, it'll look like something. I encourage you to try it. It's pretty cool. People say it's therapeutic. I think it's just a good way to practice drawing. I think I'm going to call him Frederick. Okay. That will wrap it up. I did miss a day this week, and I'm not proud of it. But, you know, it was a busy day, and I made it up. I don't want that to become a habit of missing days. That was my first missed day in like 2 weeks. So, trying to stick to this thing and see how much better my drawing gets and make these videos just to vent a little bit and like share my art with the world, and maybe it brings some therapeutic value, maybe it brings some philosophical value, maybe it brings some art drawing skills value, maybe it just brings you a little bit of source of connection, because we are lacking that nowadays. And you know, doesn't hurt. We're approaching 30 minutes, which is way longer than last week's video. I will edit it down though. So hopefully I'm not sick next week. I love you. Please leave some sort of feedback or weird comment to let me know that this wasn't for nothing. And spread positivity.